Can you hear the music?
Yeah.
Oh, does it get you right fired up?
Yeah.
Makes you feel I'm at like a, I don't know, Rush, not Rush, Kiss, maybe Kiss. I've seen Kiss and I've seen Rush. Kiss is way better.
Okay, that's cool.
You probably don't even know who Rush is. They're a Canadian band.
I don't think I know, but now I'm gonna have to look into that.
Hell yeah. I love this music.
Definitely listen to some rock for sure.
All right, welcome back to another episode of On the Throne with Dick. And shout out to Senjin Boychuk. Didn't call him, what was it? Last time I called him Bimchick or whatever. I don't know, but shout out to Senjin anyway. And you know, you can find him everywhere on the socials. And yeah, shout out to him. And this week on the podcast, we got Megan S., the apprentice, the electrical apprentice. What's going on?
Not much, just trying to survive this crazy life, man.
Surviving? Are you surviving and thriving or what?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm making more money now than I've made my entire life, but I mean, you know how it is.
Yeah, that's all that matters. How long you been doing it?
I've been in the trade for about 3 years now. I had a job before I started, trade school and actually in the apprenticeship program. I was in it for about a year. Left, did a couple other jobs, came back, and now I'm in the apprenticeship program. So I've been doing that for about 2 years now.
And you're just slaying it. See, you're an apprentice. You're just getting into it, and you're a part of Troll already. Like, man, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I was really nervous about starting posting videos because I'm not really supposed to be filming. I think a lot of people are that way. But Lexi Abreu, she's definitely been somebody that I look up to. She's the one who got me started into it in the first place. So I just started filming videos, started making things. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of trying to see what things work, but I met some really awesome people through it. So they've been supporting me for sure.
And that's the name of the game, community, yeah. Right? And like, you're not supposed to be on your phone. And I don't think anyone is. Like, I'm in the oil and gas industry, and like having your phone out on site, like even a couple of years ago, was like a cardinal sin, right? Like, it was,
yeah,
like, don't do it. Now everybody's doing it, and not only are they doing it, management is watching. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They watch, they see. And where we're at now with it is not only are they watching, but a lot of the companies, one of the oil companies now have their own social media pages, and they welcome the videos. They want to use those videos for recruitment, right? Because what have they learned over the last couple of years, especially, is that, their marketing ain't getting them nowhere. Maybe a little bit. They're slowly, getting, like, people are trickling in the door. But where have most of their new hires come from over the last, 3 years? Social media, right? They're seeing guys boots on the ground. You got Lane Borrell, who was on the podcast back in August or September, and he gets paid by his company now to make TikToks for them, right?
Dang, okay.
Right? Like, I remember when I first an I wasn't allowed to use the trucks, our company trucks, in the videos, right? Last week, they had me set up an Instagram and a Facebook page for them. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
And they're like, hey, make some videos for this page. So, like, we've come a long way in just a short period of time, right? The social media is the way, right? It is marketing. It is, it's how everyone's gonna. We talked about it 2 weeks ago now with the Trench, the Trench or Boom Nation. Mm-hmm. He said, this is sort of like a resume now, right? You're showing that you can do it. You're doing it in your videos. You're what is that? I don't know the electrical terms. You're stringing out the wire. You're what's the word for it? I don't know. Like,
I mean, there's a lot to it. You have to set cable pathway and then pulling cable, and just there's a lot of right and wrongs for sure.
Yeah. So you're pulling cable and you're doing all that in your videos, right? Prove to me that you can do it. Go watch my videos.
For
right?
Sure,
I'm doing it, right?
Yeah.
So like, it's quite interesting with how it's come along. And I love it, because I just started doing it just for fun and trying to be sneaky about it. And here people are now like, I'm showing my face, and other people
Yeah.
are showing their face and using their names. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I definitely get nervous around the guys, and I try not to film, obviously, like if I'm under the time crunch, right? Like
Oh
we
yeah,
want to be
oh yeah,
respectful. I'm being paid to do a job, and I want to make sure that I am being respectful of that. And for the most part, I just turn my phone on, set it down, work, pick it up, and move along. And so I think that it's definitely a crazy, crazy thing.
definitely, definitely. And you're in Las Vegas, eh?
No, I'm in SAC.
Sac, where's Sac?
Uh,
Sacramento?
yeah.
Oh, see, look at that. I'm not even American, and you said Sac, and I'm just like, Sac. And then yeah, no, I've been to California, so and
Okay.
I watch a lot of TV, so like Sons of Anarchy. They talked about Sacramento a little bit, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
definitely like central where a lot of stuff goes on for the state for sure. But yeah, LA is definitely a big place where things happen. So that would make sense that you would assume that for sure. But yeah, so I'm definitely in the Northern California area for sure.
yeah. I saw the LV in your bio, so I
Hmm.
just assumed that was Las Vegas.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, low voltage. Definitely not a
Oh,
big space on the internet for sure. A lot of people don't know that there's a big difference between the two, between just a general electrician and then the low voltage electrician. We do a lot of the same things, but we work completely separate. Uh, so it's pretty crazy. So people like assume, hey Megan, can you come fix lighting? And I'm like, I don't do lighting. And they're like, what do you mean you're an electrician? I'm not that kind of electrician. It's a specialty side of the
oh,
electrician.
so you do like what, batteries and stuff? Like you like,
So we
hey,
do
here's
fire
my
alarm.
double A and triple A batteries. Like that's what I assume low voltage is. And hey, don't mind me and my I have ADHD, I guess, and I like to joke around a lot. So when you tell
Yeah.
me low voltage, I automatically assume like, hey man, like my my ring light here is low voltage, right? I'm gonna be like, that's low voltage. So
Yeah, for sure. So
see,
security systems, CCTV, audio, AV, audio visual. Fire alarm is kind of my bread and butter. That's where the money is. All the prevailing wage, so state and government jobs, those pay the most. But yeah, fire alarm is probably my favorite because I get paid the most. And there's a lot more verticals to it. It's basically everything under 120. So like we require power to our panels and stuff, but we do everything under 120 volts. So that's why
that's
we're
pretty
considered
cool.
low voltage. Yeah. So,
and
and I'm
and you guys
probably
would
going to
be
get reamed.
busy, right? Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you're not gonna get reamed. I bet you. I bet you. See, I'm branching out a little bit with the troll people, trying to
Yeah.
get different trades and stuff on here because so far, like mostly it's been like oil and gas workers on the podcast, but it's a very blue collar podcast. So I'm trying to get more, more diverse, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But so I highly doubt any other low voltage people are listening yet. Maybe this is ground floor. Maybe this is the ground floor for electricity. Who knows?
Yeah.
Electricians, electricities. Can I say ground floor for electricity, or should I say ground floor for electricians? I don't know, but we're doing it.
Electricians. But yeah,
There you
for
go.
sure. I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting because I mean, we walk on site and they hate us and we hate them. And it's just, it's like, I really wish that barrier would be broken down a little bit. So maybe this is going to be an opening for that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, so you're saying like the difference, so low voltage and high voltage, they don't like each other?
No, not at all. Because a lot of times, like I'll walk on site and the electricians, we're subbed under them. So, well, at least my previous company. So my previous company didn't have the high voltage section and the low voltage. They only had the low voltage. So we were always subcontractors. And so the electricians were responsible for bending conduit, putting all of our pathways in for that, all of our stubs and all that. And so they did a lot of work for us. And then whenever we had a problem where we needed an extra pathway, we'd have to go back to them and be like, hey, I need another stub over here. And they sometimes will get mad, but I mean, what can you do? So there's
Hey, they're
definitely
getting
a
paid either way, right? Like, yeah,
that's the way I look at it.
Yeah,
It's job security, right?
exactly. I lost my way for a little bit here over the last little bit of, in terms of, what I'm doing here, right? And so it was kind of like, well, I'm away from home, right? And if I have a little bit of downtime, I'm going to welcome that, right? And no, that's not how it works. I'm in camp, right? So anytime they call me, like I'm ready to go, right?
Yeah.
So I work for the 3 to 4 weeks, sometimes more, for a week off. So while I'm here and I'm away from my family, I'm gonna maximize all I can on making money. So,
Yeah.
I got kind of used to being like, yeah, all right, I'll take a day off in camp. Sure, why not, right? And when they called me being like, oh, darn, right? And being miserable about it. So now I had to get back into the thing. This last 4 weeks on night shift has been like, no, no, you take whenever they call, you answer and you go do it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how long it takes, right? There's an end game to it. There's an ending to it. That's how I started off here, and that's I don't know why I lost that. It was I can complain about it or I can just do it, and one way or another, someone's gonna get paid to do it, right?
Yep.
And that someone should be me. I'm here. I'm ready to go. Let's go, right? And somewhere along the line in the last year, I think I've kind of stepped outside of that, and so I had to snap myself back on track here
Yeah.
recently, and I'm just like, yeah, it's annoying to wait, but when I'm waiting, I'm getting paid anyways. Like, who cares, right?
Yeah.
This is the name of the
Yep.
game. This is why I'm here. So
Yeah. Well, if you don't answer the call, somebody else is. And then because you didn't answer the call and they did, maybe they get called more often than you. And now you just set yourself out of some money. So sometimes, yeah, I definitely
boom.
understand. You have to put their needs a little bit above yours in order to maintain your job
Yeah,
security in a way. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Well,
Hmm.
I've also kind of gotten a little too comfortable maybe with the whole social media thing, right? Like, I'm making some decent money at it, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, hey, you know what? Like, not the podcast yet, but it's gotten to the point where, what? Like, maybe I can afford to not, go right now, right?
Yeah.
But then again, what if I can afford not to go? Why am I leaving home? Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So it's that, right? And it's like, well, I want to record a podcast tonight instead. Well, I'm not, my podcast ain't paying my bills, right? So like, hey, I know we have a podcast scheduled for tonight. Can we reschedule for another night? Right? Like,
Yeah.
their needs above my own. This is my fun. This is my outlet. This is to,
Yeah.
kind of, make that easier, right? So if I got to come back to this later, well, you know what? That's so be it from now on, right? And I've noticed a little bit of a difference there, right? Or I have like 5 or 6 in the bank. Now I have like one, right? The next week's episode's going out. Yours is gonna take its place for the next week, right? So,
Right.
so like it's we're finding a happy balance. I feel like it's coming into its own. There was some
Hmm.
growing pains. We're finding out where this fits into my already busy schedule now, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah,
know
it's
that's,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So low voltage, man, we got to get into that more. So like fire alarms, I've tripped a few on purpose in my day.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot bigger than I think I could have ever imagined. Before I started in this, I mean, just like you've seen, we're seeing all these trades starting to pop up on social media. Nothing that we really would have ever thought about until now we're seeing the videos and like, oh wow, that's how they do that, or I didn't even know that was a thing. So
Yeah,
like there's a lot of sides to fire alarm. I mean, there's the new installs, there's the upgrading an old system, and then there's the testing and service part of it too. So I mean, the laws are ever changing, as we know, kind of in every trade. And so where back in the day there may have been a certain code, and then there's grandfathered. So then you have to go, okay, well, whereas this wouldn't pass in new codes, it passes because it's grandfathered. There's just so much to it.
yeah,
But it really is a job security thing. The fact that I am going to, at the end of my apprenticeship, I am going to have my license and a certification and all these things. Because if, say, we don't have jobs that are going to be new installs, I still have the service and testing side. So every building in California has to have their testing, right? So whether it's a annual, semi-annual, or a 5-year, I mean, they all have different needs again from when they were installed. But that's also a job security thing. So that's why I'm not afraid to be like, well, I'm okay being a low voltage electrician, because I I don't know. I guess we all see our own positives
Own
to
your
it.
craft. Own your craft, right? Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if someone else looks down on it. I work on a vac truck, and that's the dirtiest job in the oil field. And everyone looks down on it. They're like, oh, you guys are just glorified janitors. And I mean, like, yeah, you're not wrong, I guess. Like, we're environmental, we're there. If you spill something, we're there to clean it. We're there to clean up the mess the oil field makes, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people look down on that. I have so much fun with it, right? Like, I make all the videos about it, right? It's like, man,
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, there's so many jokes about sucking, like, you can make so many jokes about it, right?
Yeah.
And you pressure off, well, I suck and I blow, right?
Yeah.
And so, so, like,
Yep.
things like that, and oh man, it's hard to even think of half the things I can joke around about and say and do and whatnot. And yeah, I just have a good time with it, and even though it's looked down upon, like, I love it. And not only that, I'm a swamper on a vac truck. So, like, I do all the work. I get all the dirty. I get all the dirty, right? And so, like, I'm looked down upon even more than the drivers are, right? And it's like, whatever. I don't care. I own that shit, right? And
Yeah.
that's who I am. It's who I am. So whatever.
Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely try to, you know, I mean, I know the things that I know about my trade, and you know the things that you know about your trade. The same thing with like the electricians and low volt. Like, I know my stuff, you know your stuff. Let's just respect each other and get along. Like, I don't know why there needs to be that judgmental aspect of it. Like, oh, you're not like on the same level as me, or you don't work harder than me. Like, I don't understand why it's even a competition. But hey, everybody's got to have their drama, I guess.
At the end of the day, we're all there for the same goal, right? We're there to make money, feed our families, and go home, right?
Yeah,
And I
and like
mean, yeah.
for
Sorry,
sure,
go ahead.
because the way no, you're fine. The way that I look at it too is like I need the electrician's power to start up my panels, but you can't occupy the space until the fire alarm's up. So I mean, we both got to ride each other's backs. So
Yep,
you help me,
yep,
I help you, and if you make my job harder, then your job's going to be harder too in the long run.
yeah, yeah. See, look at this. Look at this. When we first started talking about doing this, you were like, I don't know if I'd be good enough for a podcast. This is the first podcast I've ever done. It's the first time I've looked at the time since we started. We're already almost 20 minutes in. Sometimes it feels like it takes an hour to get to 10 minutes in. Like,
Yeah,
sometimes I gotta reach deep down in my bag of tricks and, like, figure out how I'm gonna make this interesting and make it work, right?
yeah,
And I always do. That's my job, right? On this is like, what, like, as the host, everyone's like, oh, I'm boring. I don't know what I'd say. That's not up to you to worry about, right? Like,
yeah.
I gotta make it entertaining. I gotta make it fun. All the work's on me, And here you are, like, you're just a wealth of information. 20 minutes in, just about, and like, we look at you.
Well, I'm
By the way,
passionate.
yeah, exactly. There you go. Passion is like 99%. I think showing up is half. So the math isn't adding up. That's boy math for you. See, see,
Oh, yeah,
see, and
yeah.
and and this is your first ever podcast. Pop in the podcast, share. I've done that a lot on this podcast, actually. Like, it's it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of
Well,
fun.
I
I've
think it's
never done
hard,
one before. Guess what? Yeah, you know what?
like, to get on to a podcast.
Is it?
Well, I mean, I'm like, nobody knows who I am. You know what I mean? Like, it's
You're
not like
you're Megan.
I don't know. I mean, like, making the videos and stuff, it's exciting for me, and I think it's cool to show. Like, the reason why I started it was because I had family and friends who maybe I post something to my story and they're like, "Oh, that was really cool. I didn't know that's what you did for work." And I'm like, "Okay, let me just film a little bit more." And it just kind of spiraled out of control. But yeah. And then
Yeah.
see, that happens. Then I lose my train of thought.
Hey, ADHD, remember? There'd be times where I'm literally in the middle of saying something on the podcast. We're like talking, and I'm like, shoot, where was I going with that?
Yeah.
Squirrel, right?
Yep.
And
Oh, for sure.
it happens more than you think, right? And it's crazy. There was a time like, oh geez, this past summer where I was recording a podcast 5 nights a week, right? And yeah, no, I wanted to keep all them ones in the bank, right? And having that many conversations in a week, that's exhausting on a whole new level, right? Like you can only hear the same story out of me, right? Like so many times in a week, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
they go out once a week, but I was keeping like weeks ahead, right? So I could
Yeah.
get back to, record 5, take a month off, don't even record for a
Right.
month, right? And I like that. I like doing that, right? Because then I've noticed the correlation, and I think I might have told this on the last week's podcast. So, like, which was only recorded 2 nights ago. So, I've noticed the correlation between when I dump my time and energy into this, my views and engagement suffer on social media, right? Because I'm not paying attention as much to that.
Yeah.
But when I put this aside, my videos take off, right? Like I just had a 12 million view video on Instagram, right? And I hadn't touched the podcast in like a couple weeks, right? So like there's a direct correlation there. But I had to learn to be okay with that because like,
Yeah.
I could dump my time and energy into this, that, being a wife or being a wife. Ooh, I'm not a wife. Being a husband and a father, being a husband and a father and working over 100 hours a week,
Yeah.
right? But then where do I sleep? When do I get time for my brain to shut off? Because we're not meant to be turned on like that all the time, right?
Hmm.
So I've had to learn to be okay with, all right, this is going to pick up for a little bit. That's going to drop off. And then vice versa, right? But I'm going to get some sleep. I'm going to be able to shut the brain off for a little bit and
Yeah.
relax, right?
Hmm.
Because I'm 3 years into this August, I'll be 4 years into content creation, right? So
Just on Instagram or Instagram and TikTok?
Instagram and TikTok.
Okay.
I'll be 4 years into it, right? That I'm aging like in dog years here because of that, right? Like there's a lot of content coming at you
Yeah.
all the time, right?
Hmm.
You take a couple days off TikTok, that's like you might as well not have been on there for a month. You've missed
Yeah.
so much, right?
Hmm.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man. And
Yeah.
are you on TikTok too?
Okay, I have an Instagram. I have a TikTok account, and I started posting, like reposting my videos that I had on Instagram to TikTok because it was like too. I fought it for the longest time. Like I have Instagram. I don't need another social media outlet. And then I caved, and I downloaded TikTok, and then I tried, and I feel like everyone was so advanced at all the things. I don't know, there's just so much going on with it, and I couldn't figure out how to make videos, and I was like, this takes too long. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. And then I had somebody at work make a comment to me like, hey, be careful posting videos because so and so from the electrician side got in trouble. And I was like, oh crap, I don't want to get fired. I can't afford to get fired. So I put it on private, and I'm kind of putting that on the back burner. But just kind of piggybacking off of what you said, kind of you let go of one thing and that kind of dies off, but you take on
Yeah.
another thing and it skyrockets. Okay, well, just finding that balance of, okay, well, if I continue to make, you know, videos, then my views are going to continue, my follower count's going to go up. But if I just so ever take a couple days off, then it's like, wow, now I'm back to square one. It's gone down, or the engagement is hard, right? Like, okay, my views were up on the last video I posted, which was like a day ago, and then I posted another one, and then the next day I posted another one. But then if I take a couple of days off, now it takes forever to get my views to go back up. So it's it's a game, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, I gotta take care of myself to make sure my state of mind is good, but then also I want everything, social media wise to go up. So it's just
Yep.
like finding that balance, I think, is hard because we're human and we have lives that aren't work,
Yeah.
so we have to
Yeah.
find that balance.
Yep, absolutely. And you know, so your views and stuff like that, you got to find what works. What kind of content pops off and double
Yeah.
down on that, right?
Yeah.
So whatever did really good, you make more of that, right? And you're still growing. When you get 2,000 followers on Instagram, right?
7,000.
7,000. See, I was close. 7,000, whatever, 5,000 off. So you got 7,000 on Instagram, and once you get up there, once you start getting into like 20,000, 30,000, 100,000, you built that following. You can take a couple days off and walk away and come back, and the views will come right back, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't take too much time. I've noticed that with myself. If too much time goes by, it's like, oh, all right, well, this one only got like 20,000 views on it. Oh shit, right?
20,000. Okay.
Hey, I was in your shoes like a couple years ago, right? Like, oh man, the social media game is all about persistence or persistency, whatever, and are being persistent and consistent. How many times are you willing to get kicked in the face and keep coming back for more, right? Because like not every video is gonna pop off. Even for the bigger creators, they're like, those guys, the big ones like Ricky and the Boss. That guy will get like 100,000 view video and be like, wow, that one shit the bed, right? Because he's used to getting millions on every video, right?
Yeah.
He probably doesn't even look at the amount of views a video got anymore because he just doesn't want to know. He's just like, yeah, like I'm just gonna post that and it does how it does, right? So,
right.
Yeah. So it's all about how many kicks to the jaw you can take and come back for more.
That too, and then the comments. I've noticed I have to like be careful like what I read because I've actually noticed a lot of the good comments are on my stuff, but when I comment on videos just on social media in general, if somebody didn't like what I said, they'll go to my page and then they'll come back and then they'll say something mean like on someone else's content. And I'm like, what is up with that? I mean, I've had a couple shitty comments on my page, but maybe just because I don't have a big following yet. But yeah, it's crazy. People are quite brave behind the screen.
Oh, they are. Try being a guy in oil and gas where the industry is eclipsed by you're killing the environment, right?
Oh,
And you should see the comment section on those videos, man. Like if they're coming back to your videos to comment, right? They're just spending more time on your page, and the algorithm loves that. They don't get that,
yeah.
especially on
Yeah.
Facebook. I'm monetized on Facebook, and they don't get that when they're hating on me in the comment section. Sometimes I'll drop a comment as bait, and then they'll just come back for more, and then they'll start a fight in the comment section, and I'll just like leave. I'll like leave for a few days. I got a video on there with 3 million views or something like that, and I don't even know how it happened. I went in there a few days later. I'm like, whoa, that one popped off, and then I found a comment, like a thread that had like 150 comments on it. I'm like, what?
Wow.
I opened it up. Someone left a dumb comment. I commented back with something smart, and then like 20 other people got in there and had an argument, just back and forth, and it created engagement. And I just walked away. Right? That's like money in the bank, like thanks guys, I'll take that.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I think it was like $200 I made off the video in like 4 days or something like that. I was like, it took me 10 seconds to make this thing. You guys just made me money. Thank you.
Yeah.
Capitalizing on people who feel the need to constantly have their opinions heard. Right. Mm-hmm. When I see something on the internet, and I said this in the group chat on Instagram the other day, I take nothing for face value. I take it all at face value. Yeah. Because I said the thing about the Kit Kat bar that I was eating. Yes. Nobody cared what I said in the video. They just cared about what I was doing with the Kit Kat bar. Right? They didn't care about anything else. So like I went on a road trip. I stopped, grabbed another Kit Kat bar, and I made a video eating it the same way. Same thing happened, right? And I doubled down, right? And that's what you got to do, right? And some of these people, half the people that make stupid videos or make videos that are controversial, they don't believe that. They're just doing what works for them, right?
Yeah.
We're at an age where people just deliberately say stupid shit to get views and likes.
Yeah.
Right? And it works for them. So like,
maybe I need to go do that then.
Do something.
Eat a Kit Kat the wrong way.
Do it. Make a video of you on your lunch break, in your PPE and whatever. Make it something happening in the background, right? It was the guy's working, being like, like this guy's working. I'm gonna go take a break, sit down while he's working in the background, and just eat the Kit Kat bar like a savage. Yeah, and I guarantee you it'll pop off, and people say you got to pick the right music too, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
No, I'm just gonna piggyback off yours. I'm gonna play yours, and then I'm gonna play mine, and be like, I don't know. I don't see what's wrong with eating a Kit Kat like this. Like, it doesn't
yeah,
taste any different.
yeah.
Oh
That
man,
video's from like 2 summers ago now, two, maybe longer.
dang, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Did it go off like the first time you posted it, or did it take a while?
No, as soon as I posted it, and then I went back to work. And when I came back, just
Dang.
full of comments about like, how who eats a Kit Kat bar that way. Oh man, this guy needs to get fired. Like, you're a savage. What a barbarian. Yada yada. Okay, all right.
Oh man, people are funny. Very
Yeah.
entertaining.
Oh, it is something. All right, that's for sure. So I was gonna say, like, job security for you, right? Like,
Hmm.
what's new buildings are one thing that are constant, right? They're always
Hmm.
building something new, right?
Yeah.
So you're always gonna have new fire alarms, right? Because that's
Yeah.
code in every building, every business anyway. Every
Hmm.
what's the word I'm looking for? Not residential, commercial. Every commercial building has to have them anyway. So
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, they're even starting to put stuff in the homes, like this house that I'm renting right now. I mean, they have a whole sprinkler system in here, and it's like, why? It's insane. Every home has to have solar. Yeah, it's
California for you,
crazy.
eh?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, like I rent this with a friend, and it's just interesting the way that solar works and the way that they can charge you stuff. I don't know, it's insane. But yeah, with every building, there's definitely a lot of verticals that I can touch. So whether it's we get the fire alarm, or we get the AV, or we get the security. I mean, security is an even bigger thing now too, because there's so much customization that you can do with it now, with even the card readers, just security with the doors. Like, certain people can get into certain areas. Lots of things. It's
Like
it's kind of
restricted
endless.
access doors, like
Yes.
blast doors. Nice. That's
Yeah.
cool.
So like, if you don't have this access on your card, you can't get into this area. So there's just a lot of things that are going on right now, and a lot of companies are starting to dabble in customizing the buildings to their own needs.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, well, if I learn all of this stuff, I get all my licenses, then my job security just kind of goes up, because regardless, I'm going to touch one vertical, you know. And then for my company that I'm employed with, regardless of who I work for, I mean, I'm just going to look that much better compared to everybody else who may not have all the licenses
Get them
or
all.
certifications.
Everything you can. Just get them all.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
in the oil field, like every all of the shirts I have, I've been paid for. They pay for me to go to in the beginning, like 12 years ago, I had to pay for the first two, right? And then
Yeah.
once you get in, they send you for recertification every 3 years on their dime, right? So,
Hmm.
you know, yeah, I have a lot of tickets, a lot of certifications. It's sort of like, hey, who can I send on this job? Well, hey, bro, I got that ticket. The ticket you
Yeah.
need, I got it. Let's go. Right. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. There's a lot of like state and government jobs, federal, lots of stuff here that, like, you can't even work on base if you don't have your NICETs. And those are, nationwide here in the US. Um, And so those are something that I'm going to pursue. But I mean, the companies look at it the same way. Like, okay, well, if I pay for so and so's license, then I can bid this job. But if they don't have any employees that don't have, they don't have any of their NICETs, they can't work on those government jobs. And so then they are losing out on money. So, like you said, I mean, the company that I'm employed with right now, they'll pay for my certifications. Um, of course, if I pass.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so they'll pay for my certifications. And so that, I mean, it's kind of a win-win. It's a win for them, and it's a win for me, because that's something that I don't have to pay for. So,
that's awesome. So, um, it, the difference from, like, I don't know, there's low voltage and high voltage. I guess would you call them high voltage? Hey, I'm a high
no,
voltage. No, they have even
No,
a fancy name for that.
because there is high voltage, and those are linemen. So
Okay,
the
yeah, yeah.
everybody, I know you got to be careful how you say it because people are gonna start getting offended.
Getting
They're like,
schooled
"Oh,
here.
you said that." Yeah. So the linemen are considered the high voltage. The electricians are, I think they're just called electricians. I don't know. You may have to ask them that because I'm not 100% sure. I just
Go
know
ahead
that
and assume.
we're called low voltage.
Let's start this fireworks stand or whatever
Oh
you
yeah,
said.
we'll just call them high voltage electricians.
Yeah, the high voltage electricians, the guys that
Yeah.
are, not the linemen. The linemen are so the linemen would be like top of the food chain, right?
I mean, they get paid the most. They get paid
They get.
so much money.
Do you follow Damo in the group?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
I think I
Damo. He's
follow
good.
I think I follow everybody in the group
Oh, not
now.
me until like an hour or two ago. You're like, oh, I didn't realize I didn't follow you.
Well, I was scrolling. So when I first got into the group, I like scrolled down and I was like, okay, who am I not following? Because I already followed some of the people. Um, and I must have just missed a few. I think I may have missed a few, but
Whatever. Hey, I don't care. You're here now. Who cares?
yeah, for sure.
So you got linemen, and you got regular electricians, and then low voltage. Who
Mhm.
who are the losers here? Because you guys have a fancy name. The linemen have a fancy name. The electricians are just the electricians. So they make fun of you, but they're just jealous that you got a fancy name and they're just electricians.
Yep. Maybe that's what it is. I don't
That's
know.
exactly what it is. They're jealous.
Yeah.
They're jealous. They're peanut butter and jelly.
Well, in some of the ways they put it too is they're like, well, they do we all do the same amount of work. Or no, no, no. Wait, well, how did they put it? We we do less work than they do, but we get paid the same. Some people will say, well, that's not true. Electricians make way more than low voltage, but depending on what certifications you have, I know some journeymen who are making way more than the electricians and they do way less work. And by that, I mean, we call some of the jobs we get parts and smarts. Have you heard of that term at all? Has
Parts
anybody
and
said that to you?
smarts. Like no, but it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You either got the smarts or you got the parts. The parts is that am I doing it right?
I mean, hey, one way, right? That's one way. Um, so like some jobs, the cable pulling will be done by the electricians, and then the low voltage will come in behind them once the cable's already done, set up, ready to go, and we'll just put in like we'll literally plug in the devices, and then that's it. We may do the, of course, now I'm blinking. Um, anyway, something with the panels. Of course I'm gonna blink. And then we walk away, but we make way more money doing the parts and smarts than we do with pulling the cable. And so I think that's another portion that the electricians get mad at us for because they did all this heavy lifting and they pulled all this cable. We just come in and just boop and we walk out and we make tons of money doing that. So I think that's another reason why they don't like us is because they think we don't do as much work as they do. But then we will have a job that we do everything on.
There you
So it
go.
just kind of depends. Depends on the job for sure.
How old are you?
How old do you think I am? I won't be
Oh,
offended, I promise.
okay. 24.
I'm 28. I'll be 29 next month.
Wow. Like February?
Yeah,
What day?
the 23rd.
My wife's on the 28th. Ooh, I
Oh,
almost
well.
stumbled on that one.
Oh.
Oof. Mine's on the 4th. My birthday's in like 8 days.
Very nice. How old will you be then?
Guess. How old do you think?
Crap. See, this always bites me in the butt. I ask other people and I'm like, haha, you didn't guess my age. And then they ask me and I'm like, oh, crap. Okay. How long have you been in your job?
12
I told
years.
you 12 years.
Yeah. Oh, I can't hear you. Like, are you there?
Do you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you now. There you
Okay. I'm going to guess 30.
go. Wow. Thank you. Oof, that makes me feel so good. No, older than that.
Okay. Because I'm like, okay, well, if you've been in for that long and you probably started right out of high school,
I didn't.
then
I didn't start right out of high school, right?
okay.
Um, So I floated around Saskatchewan, which is a province in Canada. You wouldn't know about that. I floated around there
I've
for
heard
a
of it.
couple of years.
I've heard of it.
See, she's heard of Saskatchewan. It's a interesting place, Saskatchewan. Interesting place. The satellites, something to do in Saskatchewan with how the technology following the sinking of the Titanic. So I think the satellites in Saskatchewan at the U of A in Saskatoon were able to pick up on the Morse code all the way across Canada or something like that.
Okay.
And it paved the way for how technology is received, something like that. I think,
Okay.
no, I'm wrong. It's Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor. They came up, the satellites picked up something in Saskatoon to do with Pearl Harbor that changed
Okay.
technology in the way that comes across. So the Titanic thing is the technology in the Morse code that the Titanic was able to send out, something to do with that paved the way for cell phones. Yeah,
I'm
cell
gonna have
phones
to look into
are
that.
like
That's
here
interesting.
because of the Titanic sinking right now. So
Huh.
like partly, I'm not saying it's 100% the reason why, hey, the Titanic sunk, so I'm able to talk on my phone. No, like part of that, like only part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So don't quote me on that
Interesting.
either. You can Google that afterwards. So much information at our fingertips. I probably got it wrong somewhere along the line.
I probably got stuff wrong in here too, but whatever.
Gord from the Second Act podcast listens to this podcast, and he's from Saskatchewan. So when he hears that Saskatchewan part, I'm sure he will be texting me to let me know where I went wrong. So,
Well, tell him to text me too because I'm interested in knowing. I love information. So,
there you go. There you go. You learn more.
yep.
I learned more on Google in like an hour than I learned in high school in 4 years. It's
Oh, for
wild.
sure. Well, they don't want us to learn stuff in school, but that's a conspiracy, and I don't know what you want to talk about
Hey,
on here.
hey, I'm down. I said the same thing. They don't want you to learn anything in school because when I was struggling in math class, you had to have like three maths. So you had to have three maths in high school, and
Okay.
I sucked at grade 9 math. Right, I failed a couple times, and then I opted out of the I think 11. Grade 11 math is the hardest, so
Okay.
I bypassed that and went to grade 12 math. But I was in electrical class actually in school, and they pulled me out because my math needed to be worked on, and I needed to take that
Ugh.
class instead. So they pulled me out of electrical class. I probably wasn't going to stick around in that class anyways. Let's be honest here. So they pulled me out of that. They put me in what they called essentials mathematics, which is where they put all the dumb kids that don't know how to do math.
Ah.
And so it gets better. So they call it essential math. You don't get a high school credit for it because it's easy. They're just there to kind of dumb it down for you, make it so you understand, then make it harder. So the kind of things I learned in essentials mathematics was if I make so much in a year and they take this much taxes off me, how much money do I have left over at the end of the year to buy a house and a car and yada, yada, yada? That shit is important. You need that shit in life. That is the actual stuff you need to learn, right?
Agreed.
Not this like Pythagorean theory stuff. Like I'm on year like almost 20 of not using that. Like, what's going on here, right?
Yep.
So I sat beside my wife and I went to like middle school together and high school, and I sat beside her like best friend in this essentials class, right? Thinking I gotta find the smartest person in this room and copy off them, not thinking that
Yeah.
this class is for people who aren't smart, right? And
That kind of
like
bit you, didn't it?
it did. I sat beside her, and when I looked at
Oh
her
man.
answers, I'm like, either I'm wrong or she's wrong, right?
Uh-oh.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, and it's not me, right?
Oh
Because
no.
I'm in this class. No, but like, so I figured out quite right quick that maybe she's not the smart person. And hey, well, neither was I. But like, only at math. But I got it real quick. They made it hard, or they made it easy. They dumbed it down. They made you understand it. Then they made it hard. Taught you the ways, taught you the tools how to do it. That threw you back into the normal class. I was back
Huh.
there pretty quickly. I got it. I'm okay at math now. I can tell you 2 plus 2 and 3 times 4 and stuff like that. My 6-year-old daughter can sort of tell me that stuff now. So back to that. How old am I? There you go. ADHD, right? We bounced around. We're back to the age thing.
You said you were older than 30.
Yeah.
35?
I'll be 35 in 8 days. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, I got a 6-year-old daughter and like a 4-year-old daughter, and I'm definitely over 30. And like,
Okay, well,
man.
you could have had kids at like 16. So
I could have, but I celebrated each time that didn't happen.
for sure.
Yeah, celebrating another year of not getting pregnant in high school, right? Like, here we go.
Oh yeah.
No. So you're 28, you said.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you. So, how long have you been doing the apprenticeship for, the low voltage apprenticeship for?
About 2 years.
2 years now. Okay. So,
yeah.
How long until you can become a first year?
No, so the way that they do it here, or at least me, because I'm non-union, I'm sure I'm gonna get hate for that too. I know.
No,
so it just kind of happened to me. This whole job just kind of happened to me through. Actually, it's been a long time coming. Because I was in it, then I was out of it, now I'm back in it. So between all of that, it just kind of happened. I don't know. I got started in it. I actually was selling low voltage. So I was selling the cable, selling the cameras. So I learned a lot about cable types and what they're used for and the different companies. So I learned a lot about that actually before I got into the trade. I made friends with one of my customers, actually. I'm still friends with her to this day. She helps me out whenever I'm unemployed. I mean, she's a fantastic person to learn from. She had her own business. So that's how I even got into it. Then I was out of it for a few years. And then just through happenstance, the owner of the company that I previously worked for, came into my workplace just through conversation, because I like to talk to people, found out that I had experience. They were looking to hire apprentices, got hired, and now I'm here. So yeah, it's been a crazy ride. And the non-union side of it, of course, I get a lot of hate from the union because the union is so big. And they're definitely coming after our trade school, that's for sure. Because that's been crazy.
Are you in a right to work state or a union state? Is California a union state?
I'm not quite sure if I know that, or I don't really know what that means necessarily.
I think right to work means like you have the. I don't know what right to work means. All I know is Grayson Magaha lives in a right to work state in North Carolina, and like unions aren't very popular there.
Huh. Well, the union is huge here in California and Nevada. And for me, I mean, we definitely occupy some of the union space just because we do work the prevailing wage jobs. Our pay just is different, I guess, because I don't pay union dues. And of course, the unions will say, "Oh, well, we have better benefits." I mean, I don't really look at it that way, but that's how they say it is. I mean, I know, I have full benefits, full fringe package. So I get my healthcare paid for. They pay for my 401k before they even touch my paycheck, before they take taxes out or anything. So the only thing that comes out of my paycheck is my taxes. So I have the highest healthcare that you can get here in California. So for me, I'm like, I don't see how being in the union is quote unquote better, like they're trying to get me out of non-union, and I'm like, well, I applied and no one reached out to me. So I mean, hey, non-union got me first.
Where would you rather be?
I will say I would like to have more conversation about the union side of it if I was to get into the union. I'm pretty disappointed with my trade school, to be honest, and that's a whole nother conversation. I mean, right now they're dealing with I guess they got hacked or something, and the internet's been down. So like, the way that my trade school works, at least, is I go to school twice a year for 2 weeks each time, and then I graduate to the next year. So it's a 3-year program. The low voltage is 3-year, and then the high voltage electrician is 5-year. I know, whatever they want to be called, I don't know. And maybe they'll tell you in the comments, like, hey, this is what we prefer to be called. I will definitely look for that. When this video goes up, I will look for what you guys like to be called, because I, to this day, do not know. And so that for the last week, I'm in my 2-2, so my second year, second semester, as like right now. So I just went through my first week, and then next week will be my second week, and then I'll be a third year. So that's kind of exciting.
Nice.
But for this whole week, our internet's been down, and the whole site's been down. The whole trade school site's been down. So we're literally sitting in class doing nothing. So that's not fun.
Twiddling your thumbs, watching movies.
Actually, no, because I don't have service in there. The building literally is solid concrete. So I don't have service. It's boring. Very, very boring. And then of course I have these guys that make comments, and they're talking about stuff they're very uneducated about, and I'm like, why don't we just not talk politics in here? Let's just not.
Oh man. A lot of people ask me why I don't talk politics on social media at all. And then when I start getting into it, they understand real quick why I don't talk politics, right? Yeah. It's because like I like followers, right? And like, you know, a lot of people come to me for laughs. They don't come to me for the politics side, right? And I have a very particular set of views on the politics realm, right? The only politics I pay attention to, and I can't say the only ones, I do pay attention to what's going on in Canada, but I wish I didn't. Are the workplace politics. And that pisses me off so much sometimes.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
Oh man, but then, you know, I made a joke, and I made the joke in the room in the group chat today on Instagram, when I was like, you know, I'm kind of bummed out. I need to go on a vacation, right? You know, I could occupy the beaches of another country for a while. You know, if Israel and China can do it, why can't I? Right? And like it didn't get much traction in there. It was like womp womp womp, right? And I was like, all right, I'll just walk away. I don't really care. It doesn't bother me too much, and that's why I stay out of politics, right? Like it's just, you know, well, there's a lot of hate in it. There's a lot of hate.
Like one of my best friends, like she's completely opposite of me when it comes to politics, but I get along with her better than I get along with a lot of people. So it's just funny. Like I don't think they, for the most part, you know, define you, but when it comes down to like things like here in California, minimum wage just went up again, and it's like, you guys are so, see, like I can't even get started on it because
what is minimum wage in California now?
It's going to be $20 an hour.
$20 an hour for minimum?
But guess whose wage doesn't get affected by that?
Yours.
Mine. And I make more than double minimum wage, and in what minimum wage is right now. And that's not going to work for me, because inflation's going to go up.
What is it at right now that it's going up to from to $20?
I think it's 15 or to be honest, I don't pay attention to it.
Going up $5?
It's either 15 or 16. To be honest, I don't know. It goes up like almost every year now.
That's crazy.
And then that's going to get into a conspiracy. So again, I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Well, here in Canada, I think the goal is to have everyone living in a tent at some point, right? Tent cities, and California would be not bad. At least it's warm. Here it gets -61 last week in Edmonton, and people died in tent city, right? And that's not good. But you know, minimum wage. So speaking of wage, so this year with inflation in Canada had crazy high inflation, more than the US. If you didn't get at least a $3 raise this year, you took a pay cut.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the comparison is here, because I try not to watch it. I'm just like, I know how much I make. I know what my bills are. And then I just kind of pay attention to that. And I'm like, okay, do I need to make more money? Do I need to make cuts for myself? Because if I start paying too much attention to it, it just starts affecting me mentally. And it makes
going to work not fun anymore, right? So you know, I just go to work and take care of my business and go home.
Yeah, because these people, they sit in these minimum wage jobs and they work basic jobs, and they're complaining that they can't afford things. Okay, well, you're not working hard enough to make more money. I don't think you should make more money. Work harder, work your way up, make more money. Don't sit here and complain.
Yeah. Yep,
Yeah, because then
100%.
everything
Minimum
else.
wage was meant to, if you're contributing to your household, right?
Hmm.
Minimum wage is fine. If you're not the breadwinner and you're just adding a little bit to it, hey, minimum wage is
Yeah,
great. If you're a
yeah,
student, minimum wage is fine. That's great. Do your thing with it. But if
yeah.
you're like 35 and you're able-bodied and you can, right? It's time. And if you're not going to complain about it, that's great too. But if you're going to
Hmm.
complain about your minimum wage job, your low skill minimum wage job,
Yeah,
right? And I mean, everyone's important. We need those people too,
for
right? We
sure,
need them.
for sure.
They need us. We
Yep.
need them. Yada yada yada. But if
Hmm.
you're going to complain about it and you can change your situation, but you don't, that's self-inflicted.
Agree 100%.
Yeah.
I agree so much on that. Yeah. And then to that too, like we've worked how hard to get our certifications and to get how many years into our trades and
Yep.
to work our way up and then just to be basically punished for it. It just kind of makes me mad. Like these people look at us like we're so well off and like we did something extra to get to where we are. And I'm like, well, I did. I worked hard and like I wasn't happy where I was at. So I moved to the trades and I'm
Yep.
happy now. So it's like, you know, I don't respect people who sit there in their own situations and are so unhappy and they're not going to do anything about it, and then get mad at me. Like, I don't know.
Yep.
Just
Yep.
interesting.
100%. That's a good take on it. This is are your conspiracy chat, like, I don't know if you've ever listened to Tron go off in his live streams.
I don't think I have.
No, you ever gone live when he's live? Have you ever gone in and watched?
I don't I see and like I know enough about Instagram, but I don't really watch people's lives. I don't know. Maybe because I'm not on it as much as it
Yeah.
probably looks like I am. I kind of go on, do my thing, make my video, kind of respond to a couple comments, and then I'm off. So I
Well,
know I
you
need
know
to
who
be more
Tron is,
active.
right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy who, like, he's our
Oh,
handler
yes.
for Troll.
Yes.
Tron,
Yes.
yeah.
I know. Yeah,
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 the
yeah.
big dude. Yeah, when he goes live, right? Near the end of his live, he's like, all right, conspiracy time. And he just goes into it, right? And everyone comments and stuff, and it's a good time. It's a good time. Sometimes you throw a little comment in there to like just stir the pot a little bit, and it's fun. It's really fun listening to it.
You
But
know, I
yeah,
think I saw the last time he was on or something. He like gave a time, but I was an hour off. So like I went onto my phone to like watch it and then he had already done it. And I'm like, crap, I missed it. I think I
yeah,
just am not paying attention to like the time zones and stuff. I
yeah.
think that's the biggest hurdle for me.
I thought you were in Vegas because the LV, low voltage. Who knew? So right, like, so I thought you were in LV,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm pretty sure we are on the same time, but you're in California, so I think it's what, 8:30 there right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're an hour behind me. When you're like, yeah, we could do it now, I'm like, are you sure it's not too late, right? But it was
Yeah.
it was good for you. It was good for me too. I don't
Okay.
count
I was
it.
like, oh,
No, it was good for me too. I realized that as I
okay,
was
cool.
saying that. I'm like, whoa, wait here. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, so uh, apprentice first year,
Hmm.
second year, third year, fourth year,
No. So for
red
me, it's
seal,
just
journeyman,
three.
and then
Then
journeyman.
then it goes to journeyman. Yes. And
Oh,
there's
you're gonna be the
no,
JW.
so there's like, I think all the companies kind of do it differently. I'm not 100% sure because I haven't made it, obviously, I haven't made it to that yet, but there's like, I guess tech levels. So journeyman one, journeyman two, I think there may be that. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah,
Um, and then there's, you can get a job where you're the foreman or, whatever it may be. And so, um, there's those levels. So I'm not sure what that looks like for me right now because at my last company that I worked for, um, the way they did it was differently, and then the company I work for now, they're doing it differently. So I think it just depends on where you work is going to depend on the like levels or what they call you.
yeah.
But yeah, so I go from being called an apprentice, by my semester. So right now I'm called a 2-2.
What
That's
up,
just what
two
I'm
two?
called. Yeah, and then I'll be considered a 3-1 after I graduate this next
3-1 would
semester.
be year three, semester one.
Semester one. Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting good at this. See, like, man, you can't fool me.
Yeah. So I'm excited for sure, but like my next class is gonna be test prep. Wait. Yeah, it's gonna be a test prep. And then like very right after that, I'm supposed to take or schedule my test. I don't know. Maybe it's 3-2. I don't know. I get it all confused. but next year will definitely be like test prep for getting my license and getting my certification and all that. So I'm getting a little nervous, but hopefully it won't be too
You
bad.
got this. You got this.
Thanks.
What's your 5-year plan or outlook here? Do you plan on like becoming like the JW and then like uh Red Seal after that, right?
And then what?
A Red Seal after that?
Red Steel? What do you mean?
Red Seal? Like is journeyman is just as far as you go?
Oh, no. I guess the next step would either to be the foreman in general
Okay.
or work your way up into the office.
Okay,
So
okay.
I love the field. So I want to stay in the field as long as possible. And as long as I keep getting, pretty good, at least pretty good pay, I hope to have a partner in this. Right now I'm single, I'm by myself, so I have to self-support. So I need to make, yeah, as much money as I can, but I'm hoping to have a partner in the future where I don't have to do that. But if I can move into the office and be like a project manager or a project estimator or just be something in the office, and maybe I could work from home. So I would like to be in the field for as long as I can and then eventually move into the office and be able to do maybe even a hybrid, but work from home as a project manager or an estimator. And I do have experience in that. So I had the year that I was selling low voltage, I was definitely considered a account manager or whatever you call it. But it
That's such a
basically
cool
was an
place to start.
estimator.
That's such a
Yeah,
cool
and
place to start, right? A lot of people just start in the field. You start in like the
yes,
perfect place, get a feel for the stuff that you're going to be working with first. That's so
yeah.
cool.
And I'll say too, like I know a lot of the guys that the company I'm with right now, they started in the shop. So they did a lot of like organizing and pulling parts for jobs and stuff. So they learned it that way, but I don't really think that's the right way to do it because the company that I worked for, selling the low voltage, they actually brought in manufacturers and they sent me to the manufacturing plants, and I would go and I would look at how they make their stuff. And I learned a lot of things there that were really hands-on, that I think is probably more beneficial than just kind of knowing part numbers in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the funny thing is too, I got into that from selling cars. So I sold cars for 2 years.
Look at you go. Now you know all about how to get to work too, right? Like, see,
Yeah, I mean,
you're
I guess I
just.
know what cars to buy and what cars not to buy.
What's your favorite car? Go. You sold cars. What one do you recommend?
Oh, I mean, that's a hard one because then you get into years and you say the wrong one and everyone goes off because then there's the Ford versus Dodge and
Come on, come on.
they hate each other.
Put your money where your mouth is, right? Like put it all
Well,
on the line.
I'm like American made, I'm an American, but at the same time, the Tacomas, man, Toyota Tacoma, you just can't really beat it. Now, I will say, again, what I just said, like getting into the years and stuff, 2016, anything newer than that for Tacoma, do not buy because they have issues. But
There you
I
go.
do like the 2015 Tacoma, and I will own one day. Hopefully, when I journey out, I'll be able to trade in what I have. Um, but I don't know. It's the year thing. So like Ford has good years and Dodge has good years. So and Chevy has good years. So I'm not saying like one truck is better than the other. I mean, I do have like maybe I like the look of some trucks more than others. Like I don't like the newer Chevys. I don't like the newer Dodges. I like the older Dodges. I like the newer Fords versus the older Fords. Like just the look. But then when
Yep.
you get into
Yep.
engine or transmission, it's like, okay, well,
My
certain years
boss
are
just
better than
bought him.
others.
My boss just bought himself a Tremor today.
Oh my gosh. Okay, the Tremor package is like really
Yeah,
nice.
it's pretty mint. Like when I went to get in it, he smelled me first to make sure I smelled good enough to get in his truck. Like I just got off work, right? So he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't give you a ride back to camp smelling like that, bud. And then I took all my gear off, my PPE, and then he's like, yeah, you smell fine. He's like, you're good, you're good enough. You're on the edge. So like I get in, man, it's a nut. The seats, the leather seats, like oh my god, it was beautiful. Like
Oh
just
yeah.
the pattern on the material. Oh, beautiful.
I had a general contractor who um he took, oh bless his heart. He like bought a brand new, I think it was a Ford Tremor, I think. I'm pretty sure. And there was this homeless guy needed a ride, and he's like, yeah, sure, I'll give you a ride. Brand new truck, mind you. I think he only had it for like a month or two. Got into
Oof.
his truck, was being weird, and then he got to the place where he had to drop the guy off, and he kind of like slid out of his truck, and he looks over. The guy, the guy shit his pants in his
Nice.
brand new truck with the leather seats that had the heated, cooled seats, so they had the holes in them. So he spent I don't know how long cleaning out his truck from
Oh,
the stuff that was left on his
jeez,
seat.
that's
I was like,
gross.
I can't I can't believe that happened to you. He's like, yeah, I'm never giving anybody a ride ever again. So I mean, I get it. I get why he wouldn't want you to get in this truck.
I'm doing that to him tomorrow. Now I'm getting in, and I'm gonna drop a big one on his seat. That's
just
it.
just fake, like make it like chocolate or something, and you just kind of wipe it as you get out.
Oh man, he'd be so mad. This guy's got a bad temper.
Oh no, then don't. I don't recommend it.
He functions off like rage, like nicotine and caffeine are a food group.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
It's
I'll dabble in the energy drinks, but anything else, it's probably too much for me.
yeah, yeah. So do you want to own your own business then within the next, like, become a JW, and then, like, eventually you said you want to eventually maybe work in the office, but like would you like start your own thing?
It's a lot of work. A lot of work. I have a friend that actually I had my first job with, in this industry. She has her own company, and just watching what she's had to go through and how people treat her, it just kind of puts me off just a little bit to start my own company.
Yeah.
We've had talks about maybe me having a fireside on in her company. I'm not quite sure if that's going to be something that I want to pursue, but it is, I have talked about it with her. I don't quite know. I'd have to talk to more people about it. Um, but I don't know. I think I just enjoy the job security right now of having a company who makes sure they have enough work for their employees. I kind of enjoy that, not
Hell
having
yeah.
that extra added stress. But I don't know. Maybe that's what the future holds for me. But right now, I do enjoy the company that I work for, and the way that they do everything. I mean, they pay for my trade school, and I don't really have anything to worry about, and they take care of everything on the back end. I don't have to worry about taxes or paying somebody
It's
correctly.
perfect.
They worry about all that. So I don't know. It's not a no, but it's not a yes. It's I'm just
I
not
feel you
sure.
there. I feel you there. I've same stuff. My dad owned his own business, and I watched what he went through. And then,
Mhm.
when I was 18, he was like kind of trying to pass it off to me, and I'm just like, bro, I'm 18. I can't take care of myself, let alone a company. Like, I would drive this thing into the ground, right? And
Yeah.
then I watched him drive it into the ground. So, like, it was like, whatever. Whether I did it or he did, hey, at least it's on him. Hey,
Yeah.
it's not on me.
Yeah.
So whatever. Um, you do you find like you get treated differently as a woman, or
Oh, I was like, oh, this question is gonna come
see?
up. Um, some guys have it in their heads that women don't belong in the field. Now, to a certain extent, I respect that because I have seen women in the field that will use being female to their advantage, not in a good way. Um, so to a certain extent, I respect it, but I think I personally deserve to have an equal chance to show you that I'm more capable, rather than you just coming into this thinking that, oh, just because you're a girl, you don't deserve it. I
Amen to
understand that
that.
I have to, like, I understand I have to earn your respect. I have to earn your trust. I have to show you that I can work. I don't expect you to just respect me because I'm a girl or treat me like I don't want to be treated differently than the guys because I may not be as strong, but I'm going to do my best. And I have to sometimes work a little bit smarter because something's heavy for me than the other guys do. And that's fine. Again, I don't want to be treated any differently. My last company, I had a journeyman who went into the office and told them that he doesn't think that I should be in the field just because I'm a girl. Um, yeah. So there was stuff like that. I mean, I got hit on by lots of guys
I've been hit on
at
by
my
lots of
last
guys at
company.
work too. Look at the mustache, right? Like it happens. It happens.
Man, that stash just gets them every time, huh?
You should see my inbox on Instagram. It's
Oh my
crazy.
gosh,
Oh,
that's
and
hilarious.
On Snapchat, dude was sending me like D pics every day for like a month, and I just opened it to get rid of the notification. And one day he stopped, and I'm like, "What the hell?" And like a month went by. I'm like, "Bro, you good?" And then he started again, and
Oh
I'm like,
no.
"Ah, no!" And then
Well,
and
now
then
you
it
know how it is.
evolves. Yeah,
Now you know how it is.
yeah, yeah.
But
It's savage. Oh, guys are pigs, man.
but I mean, it's easy to just
Men.
delete block, right? They're not all the same. There's some guys that
I'm glad you're telling me this now because I've heard all guys are the same.
no, they're definitely not, and that's not an opinion. That's a fact.
There
Because
you
I
go.
had guys that worked with me and at my previous company that were my journeymen. They completely treated me the same way they treated all the other apprentices. I did not get treated differently. They, if anything, expected more out of me because they knew that I could do it. Like they believed in me. They um, taught me things, that, and they expected me to apply what I learned. I'm not perfect. I definitely messed up. I definitely, have my own
We all do.
problems. Yeah. But I would say it's at that company, it was about 50-50. Um, you know, Unfortunately, they decided that they didn't want to work with me anymore, and they ganged up against me, said some things that were very untrue, and I wasn't even given an opportunity to defend myself against the untrue
That's how
statements.
you know it was untrue. When they don't let you
Yeah.
speak, you know. I had a similar situation. Um,
Yeah.
I wasn't even working that night, and yeah, oh, it was crazy. I was there, but I wasn't working. I was watching a hockey game with one of my coworkers, right? And it
Dang.
was
Yeah.
2010, the Canada gold medal game. Sidney Crosby scored the golden goal that night, and I remember it exactly because I walked out, I was pumped, and
Yeah.
I got accused of something that I did not do, but apparently it was on camera. And I'm like, show me the camera. And they're like, no, we're not, we don't need to show you the camera. And I'm like, okay,
Uh,
that was the proof then. So the thing was, I was one of the only full time employees making full time money while the other people were all students. So
huh.
they wanted more students because I was making too much, right?
Mm,
So they were
yeah.
looking for reasons to get rid of me, right? And I was so mad that night. I walked an hour and a half home down the highway in the dark. It took me 40 minutes to get home. Yeah,
Oh,
and
wow.
that effectively started my path into the oil field. Like I worked with a guy there who worked in the oil field, and he was telling me how
Yeah.
to get in and what I needed and stuff like that. And I was just looking for an excuse. I didn't want to be there anymore anyway, right? I
Yeah.
didn't move across
Yeah.
the country to make $13 an hour, right? I live
Yeah.
way far away from home, so
Yeah.
um, yeah, that put in motions to start my life down a path that I should have been on anyways. So
Hey, that's how I feel. I'm like, I know I deserve to be here. I know I should be here. I literally love this so much. So I don't know. Yeah. I mean, that's a great story. Um,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
I mean,
I
and
love
the
it.
company I work for now, like every single one of the guys are respectful to me. I don't feel like I'm a girl at all. Like they treat me, I don't know if that sounds weird, but they just treat me like one of them. And it's really
Hey,
nice.
I don't feel like a girl. Maybe it's time for an operation. No,
No, thank you. No, thank you.
no.
Woo! Let's
Hey,
just
you were
pass on
saying,
that one.
yeah. You, I was like, can I get away with saying that? Because you're Christian, right? And I know a lot of Christians feel a little off about that side of the thing, right? So it's like, can I drop it? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna go
There's a difference.
full in. Yeah,
Between joking and like being serious about stuff. So
yeah, that's true. That's
yeah,
true.
and everybody
So
can say whatever they want and have their own beliefs. So
yeah, 100%.
yeah,
Yeah. Hey, you want a Bud Light or what? So
no bud.
no. So you said earlier when we were talking, you have three jobs or had three jobs at one point.
Yep, I worked three. I was doing the electrician job. Actually, I was with my last company at the time, full time. Sometimes I would work, overtime. And then I worked at Bass Pro part
Look at
time.
you go.
And then I worked at my church part-time.
That's
I didn't have
cool.
any days off. Yeah. So
Good for
sometimes you
you.
gotta to make ends work, you gotta figure it out.
Hey, man, you do what you got to do,
Yep.
and you know, as long as you enjoy it, right? And
Yeah.
what was that? What was that saying that I heard it on Gord's podcast? It was um oh, it's gonna come back to me here. It's a really good quote. It's like meaningful opportunity. So meaningful opportunity is the birthplace of or oh man, how did that go again? I think it was like it's the birthplace of meaningful opportunity. It was constructive, not constructive criticism. Oh man, it's gonna bug me now. It was meaningful discomfort is the birthplace of opportunity or something
Oh,
like
there
that.
you go.
Right?
Good one.
So
Yeah.
like, you made yourself uncomfortable. Three jobs is a lot, right?
Mhm.
Meaningful discomfort is the
Yeah.
birthplace of opportunity, right? And
Yeah.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah. It was definitely a difficult time in my life to have to work all three of those. I mean, it was by my choice, my own choice. Um, but sometimes to make ends meet, you gotta do that. But yeah, I mean, I think that through all of the jobs that have led me here, yeah, I have definitely been uncomfortable and have had those times where you gotta do what you gotta do. And yeah.
Hey, I just want to say that for someone who wasn't sure how this was going to go, you're an hour and 15 minutes into a podcast you weren't sure you could talk on.
Well, I mean, hey, you have to have a good leader, so you're doing
Hey, hey,
what you said you were gonna do.
hey, so I got a question. You know what? Do you know what viscosity is? Yeah, viscosity.
Yes,
You don't know what viscosity is?
yes. I'm not
Oh,
gonna sit here and talk about it though.
sorry. It it went like the mic cut out or something there for a second.
Yeah.
So viscosity is the like thickness of fluid, right? Or the whatever. And so the Mudman deals in viscosity, and the podcast is sponsored, is where I'm going with it, by the Mudman.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the Mudman deals in like the thickness of fluid, and like how thick is your mud? So www.mudmarket.com. You know viscosity.
Very good.
I got to get that in there for him.
No, for
He's a
sure. Yeah,
solid
yeah,
dude. He's a solid dude, and you should see where the viscosity conversation goes sometimes. The thickness of loads, and that's all I'll say.
I know. I
We'll
was like,
stop
what is he
there.
gonna ask me about this? I don't know a lot of what he's talking about. Okay.
Yeah, no, it can turn to it gets off the rails a lot, but like
Yeah.
for the most part, we stay pretty sane with it. We're good. The Mudman's pretty cool about where we take it. He doesn't get. I don't think he's ever gotten upset about it. He says his cheeks tighten every time. So every time I ask the question. So yeah, yeah, absolutely. I love that. Oh man. Oh, so how did you get involved with Troll? You said Lexi?
No. Let's see who. Well, I had started buying their stuff because I really liked it. Um,
Yeah.
and because I saw it, Lexi was wearing their stuff, so I started buying their shirts and stuff. I was wearing it around work, and I was getting lots of compliments. I'm like, okay, this brand is like something else, because I I had tried other brands.
Oh, I think we froze.
Oh no.
Oh, I think we froze.
Did I come back?
I can hear you. There you go. You're back now.
Okay, I'm gonna plug my phone back in because I unplugged it. Um. So where did I leave off?
Uh, you saw Lexi wearing it. You liked the brand, and
I
I think
started wearing
that's
it. Yeah, I
yeah.
started wearing it around, and people were starting to like it and make comments about it. So I started buying more shirts, and then I started posting like just stories, and they would repost my stuff. And the feeling of like, oh my gosh, they reposted something. I was like getting giddy about it. Uh, and
I like
then
that. That's a good feeling.
yeah, and then follower count started going up. I started meeting some people, the mat electrician and the daily electrician. I started meeting them, and the 360 electrician. So I don't know if the 360 is in there, but I think the mat electrician and daily electrician are.
Yeah, I think so. I think I
Yeah.
see electrical shits in there. I see him all the time.
Hmm. So they started like chatting with me. We're gonna go to some events this year together, and um, like NECA. We're gonna go to NECA, National Electrical Contractors
Are
Association.
they just regular electricians?
Yeah, yeah.
See, look at that. Not all of them are a-holes, right? Like, eh?
Yeah, that's for sure. I think it's a really small portion of men who are, not supportive of the women in trades in general, but
Yeah.
I
No,
think we're all starting to.
I was talking about towards low
Oh,
voltage.
towards low voltage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
that's for
they
sure.
openly invited you into their little group. They're the mean girls, and you're like, what's her name? Lindsay Lohan.
Oh yeah. I mean, my hair's red like hers too. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so I started talking with them, and then one of them actually reached out to the guy who manages us, and um, he didn't like respond to him at all, I don't think. And then I applied. I don't know how many I had, like how many followers I had at the time that I applied, but I applied to the ambassador program through Troll's website. And then I got a response like the next day that I was approved, and I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting to get a yes. And they did, and that was freaking awesome. I was so excited. So that's
Yeah.
how I kind of got into it. So I'm not sure if he was already aware of me because of the Mad Electrician, sending him my page at all, or if because my follower count had gone significantly up from when he had sent that maybe that's why I got approved. But yeah, I mean it's been a fun ride so far. It's only been I don't know how long since I received all my new gear. Um, but yeah, I love it. They're so supportive, and they repost my stuff, and it's not like I do it to get reposted. I wear this stuff because I believe in the brand and I believe in what it says and
Dirty
the quality.
hands,
Oh yeah.
clean money.
I'm like, oh, what side do it's weird because it's like flip-flopped. Um, but yeah, it's a fantastic brand for sure.
Boom. Yeah. Let's move this.
And
There we
my
go.
hat, yeah,
Yeah, I thought this was the hat until I. It looks
like just now.
looks the same as my other one. Yeah, it looks the same
Oh
as my
no.
other one. Like
Yeah.
from the back. I got 3 new hats waiting for me at home. I go home in 3 days, so I got 3 new
Oh, very
hats that
nice.
just arrived. So I'm pretty excited for that. You can never have too
So
many hats.
oh, for sure. I mean, the hats don't usually fit me, and the fact that these fit me so well, this one, and then I have a brown and black snapback that fits. So
What?
I'm
What's your
like, ooh,
code?
my code?
Yeah,
Oh, Meg 10.
Meg 10 for
Yeah.
anyone that wants to buy some Dirty Hands Clean Money gear and use Meg's code for 10% off. It's Meg 10, and mine is oh shit, mine's Frost 10. So yeah, link in bio, and same probably with hers. So Meg 10.
Oh yeah.
No, it's so cool though, right? Like when I was wearing their gear for a little while too, and I was always wondering like, how do I get in? How do I get in? Like I want to be a part of that. That's so cool,
Yeah.
right? And how many followers does a guy need, and how what's the threshold here? And
Yeah.
then apparently there were a couple people that are in the group like Rough Iron and stuff like that, and I think Slim. They were sort of in the background pushing it for me, right? And I had no idea, right? And then
Oh yeah.
yeah. So then I asked Tron if he'd come on my podcast, and he's like, "Hey, I got a better idea. I can hook you up with someone." And then he's like, Would you like to be a part of the affiliation thing? And I was like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, you're darn right I do.
I think
Right?
there's
And
that's
the
so important to support each other, and you got people fighting for you, and yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And that's the whole point of the podcast. It's just supporting each other, right? Like,
Mhm.
like where can people find you on the socials, right? Like, so anyone that's listening to this, when they're finished listening, they like, what you said here today. They think they want to check out your content. Where can they find you?
On Instagram, electrician Meg _.
There you go.
Yep.
And that's it, because TikTok for her
Well,
is.
right now, yeah, it's the same on TikTok. So definitely, request to follow me. But yeah, for right now, I'm just kind of sticking with Instagram because that's kind of what's working for me. I will probably start dabbling at TikTok eventually, but for right now, just Instagram.
Hell yeah. No, that's
Hmm.
that's good for you. You do what's best for you. You know what I mean? Don't
Hmm.
let anyone else tell you like you're doing it wrong, right? Because
Yeah,
obviously, if troll came and knocking, right, you're doing something.
yeah. I mean, I want to start a YouTube channel eventually, but I don't really know what I'm gonna do on the YouTube channel yet. So
I have YouTube. It's hard not to crack. I've been
yeah.
going at it for 2 years, not as much as I should be probably, but I've been going at it for two
Hmm.
years. I got almost 900 subscribers now, so
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a lot. Yeah,
yeah. Well, YouTube's hard, right?
yeah,
Hydrovac
yeah.
Jack. If you want any tips on YouTube, Hydrovac Jack in the group there. He's the guy to talk to for YouTube. I think he's got like 100,000 followers or subscribers on there. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
he's good people. Yeah,
Yeah, for the most part, I mean, I not that I've been in the group for very long, but everyone's been really welcoming and really nice and interacting with me and interacting with everybody really. And we all come from such different backgrounds, but we all come together when it just comes to supporting each other. And regardless, it's not like it's one person over the other. It's we're all supporting each other, we're all bringing each other up, and I love that so much.
that's the important part, right? It's big
Hmm.
industry, small community, right?
For sure.
And yeah, you got to have that, and it's all about collaboration. There's a lot of people in the group that collaborate all the time, right?
Yeah.
I know I got a collaboration on the go right now with Slim, the Gilbert girls, and Rough Iron. And then I have another one on the go with just Rough Iron, right? And
Hmm.
then before Christmas, there was a bunch of us that had one on the go, and then I try to participate in as many as I can. If I see it, I'm there, right? So like, hey, I'm in. If you
Yeah.
got one on the go, let me know. I'm always down. So
Yeah. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I got one more question before
Okay.
we. What is that? Oh, that's my. Okay. So I got one more question before we finish this off here, and I like to end it
Yep.
with the same one every time. Stumps people a lot. That's why I like doing it. Wear you out mentally, and then just perk you right up. Right? It's
Okay.
great. So Mount Rushmore has four of the most influential people ever on it, right? If you could have your own Mount Rushmore with four people that inspire you or that you look up to, who would they be and why?
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one. Hmm.
It could be
Well,
living, dead, fiction, nonfiction.
oh, okay. Wow, that really opens it up wide. Maybe you should have told me about this before we got on here.
Never, no, because then you
Uh,
have time to prep for it. That's the whole point. I got to stump, right?
hmm. Well, Jesus will be my number one. So he'd run
Shout out,
point.
shout out to the Jesus.
Oh yeah. Number two, man, I'm gonna look back at this and be like, man, I should have said this. But we're just gonna go off of feelings right now. Trump will be my second. Again,
Oh,
probably gonna start a riot in the comments.
45 and 47.
Well,
Whoa.
that's that's a conversation in itself too. Um, oh gosh,
Why Trump?
he's the goat. I don't know. I mean, I could go off. I could go off on that one. I mean, there's a lot of misinformation, so you really got to be careful what you're looking at. I think
There is.
a lot of people just have this, you know, idea of him from what they've seen from the media in the last few years, and I just think that's so sad that that's the extent of what they know.
Who's
It's
going to
so
be his
unfortunate.
VP?
Oh, I don't know.
It's going to be Vivek Ramaswamy. It's going to be
You
Vivek.
think so?
Oh, yeah. Oh, Vivek is like he's a huge Trump fanboy. He loves what he's done. And he said, I don't know if you listen to Jordan Peterson or not, but he said on Peterson's podcast that he knows where Trump went wrong, and he's here to. Trump exposed a lot of things, and he's here. Trump did a lot of heavy lifting. Vivek's here to do the rest,
Hmm.
right? Trump did most of the work. He's here to finish it, right? So I think Vivek would be a good running mate.
I think there's a lot of stuff that we still don't know about him, and a lot
He's
of stuff
young.
that's a little fishy. Yeah. So I'm not. I'm not opposed to him. I'm just not, I don't know enough about him to speak on him. So I will say that. If I don't know, like what I'm talking about, I won't really say anything about it because I don't think
Yep.
that's right. I think a lot of people speak on stuff they really know nothing about. That's what drives me nuts.
Amen.
But yeah, I don't know who, I don't know. I have thought a lot about it because then I was set on one and then something happened and it changed my mind. And oh, yeah, lots of things have happened and they happened so quickly over the last year.
Oh yeah,
It's
he just had to pay
insane.
$83 million.
I don't know if he had to pay it. I think they're gonna fight it. Did you see the statement from his lawyer?
No, I didn't see that.
They're gonna fight it. There's no way he's paying that whole thing
So
because he wasn't able to defend himself. Our
yeah,
rights are being stripped from us, and they're using him to do it.
so he like originally she was only going after 10 million and $83 million.
She's not gonna get it. She's not gonna get it. They have no proof. But again, this is gonna start another conversation. I don't know. We want to dabble into that, but
Hey,
yeah. Let's see. So third, who would my third be? Probably my pastor. My pastor's
what's
freaking
his name?
awesome.
Pastor what?
Greg Farrington.
Pastor Greg. What up?
Yeah, he's been
Shout out
fighting
Pastor
for
Greg.
lots of things, and our government's been going after him real hard. And he says stuff about our sad excuse for a governor. So, yeah, he's been going after him for a while now. Just makes little statements, little jabs, and he's not too happy about that. I mean, I wouldn't be either if people were saying stuff about me, but it's true. So,
That's when it usually hurts the most, right?
yeah. And then number 4, because I'm thinking like, different aspects of my life. Like I love music, so probably Granger Smith.
I just heard about Granger Smith for the first time, like in the last couple days.
Really? What about
I,
him?
I don't know. I've seen one of his songs somewhere on the internet, like somewhere on TikTok or something.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, he's got a lot.
Name a
Highly
song.
recommend. Name a song. Which
Name one
one?
song. Name a song for a first time listener of Granger Smith. Name a song that I should listen to.
I'm trying to think of the best one. I don't know. I'm gonna have to come back to you on that because I want to give you the best one to listen to then.
Okay, best one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will give that to you. You'll put that in your bio or whatever.
I will.
It's called.
I will. That's how you know that I found it.
Yeah, because he's got Earl Dibbles Jr. If you don't know who that is, you need to look at that.
What's it called?
Earl Dibbles Jr.
Earl Dibbles Jr.
It's his little, like, I don't know what you'd call it, like a parody. It's his little, like, he acts like this person, and he even has his own Instagram account. It's hilarious.
Oh,
Look
like
him up.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. What's the word there? When you like, oh,
Like I don't know if I use the right word for that, but
doppelganger. It's oh man, like it's on the tip of my tongue now. He's got like Clark Kent to Superman, right? Like
kind of.
yeah,
Kind of.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. All right,
he's hilarious. He's hilarious, but he went country singer to pastor. So, well, I don't know if he's calling himself a pastor, but he's going around preaching, and I love that so much. I went to one of his last concerts, actually.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
good for you. That's good stuff.
Love him.
I like that.
He has a podcast. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember what that one's called, but they also have a clothing brand that I love. So, yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. So I like when people have their hands in their clothing brands and podcasts. Yeah, the podcast world is growing.
Mm-hmm.
It's only getting bigger, right? Like get in on the ground floor. It's not even the ground floor anymore, but like get in. Sure, it's gonna be oversaturated for a little bit.
Yeah.
But the nonsense ones that are no good are gonna weed themselves out. Right?
Yeah.
Like most people, the average podcast lasts like 20 episodes or less, right? Because it gets no traction. They're not getting out of it what they thought they could. And they give up. They become another statistic, right? They come into it for all the wrong reasons, right? I like having conversations. The views and the listens are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Even if they weren't, I'm not in it for that. I'm in it for conversation, to learn more about people, to collaborate. So Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've definitely
Um,
met a lot of cool people.
oh yeah. Yeah, the internet's been a wild place. I'm trying to get
Yeah.
Red Green on. I don't know if you know who Red Green is, but
Oh, I'm not sure, but I have to look up that now too.
I think that's a part of Canadian heritage. So that's
Okay.
yeah. I think Red Green is Canadian heritage for sure. Who did I get on here? Oh, decent amount of people anyway. But yeah, we're trying. I reach out to like everyone. I'm trying to get Mike Rowe. Do you know who Mike Rowe is?
No, I don't think I do. Okay. Here's the thing though. I'm really bad with names.
He's the guy from
So,
Dirty Jobs.
oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, the guy with the sexy voice. Yeah. Oh,
Okay, yes, I know.
this gets me right fired up. Makes my knees weak.
Oh man, there's always that one person, right? That
It's
one
always
person
that
you
one
turn
dude
for.
that'll do it for it. Oh man,
Oh
it'd
yeah.
be him for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Be
Yep.
him for sure. Yeah.
Charlize Theron for me.
Ooh. Wasn't she Poison Ivy in one of the Batmans?
I'm so bad. I don't watch all
She
those
was.
movies. Oh, don't
She
hate me.
was. She was one of the Poison. She was a Poison. She was Poison Ivy in one of the Batmans. I think it was
Oh
Batman
no.
Forever or
Now I'm gonna
Batman.
have to
Yeah,
look it up
Batman Forever. Yeah.
because
I'm gonna.
my favorite. What's your favorite movie with her in it?
You know what? I
That's the
don't
only movie
really.
you've seen?
I can't name many movies with Charlize Theron in it. So
Oh,
Batman.
okay.
Name
I'll
like
name
5
the.
movies.
Oh gosh. Okay. The Guard.
Okay, I haven't
The
seen
old.
that.
I think it's Old Guard. I think it's Old
Okay,
Guard on
okay,
Netflix.
okay. I'll go check that out. American Netflix, Canadian Netflix are different though, so I'll go see if that's on there.
Oh, okay. I'll send it to you. Italian Job.
All right, that's up there. That's like top
That's
notch.
like one of my number one movies because you've got cars, you got guns. I mean,
You
you kind
got
of got everything in that
Edward
movie.
Norton. You got
Yeah, for sure, Steve.
Kiefer Sutherland, not Kiefer Sutherland, Donald Sutherland. What
Let's
other
see.
movies?
Okay, so those are two. What are the other ones? Oh, the Snow White movie. It's a Snow White
The
movie, but I
Huntsman,
don't remember what. Is that what it's called with her in it?
Snow White and the Huntsman.
I think that's what
I
it's
thought
called.
that was um, what's her name from Twilight.
Oh no, she was in one.
Okay,
Stewart.
Kristen Stewart. That's her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she had one. There's lots of movies. There's lots of Snow Whites. They're just all called something different. I'm just not sure what that one was called. Let's see. Yeah, it was Snow White and the Huntsman.
There you go.
Yep.
She was the evil queen, wasn't she?
Yes, she was the evil
Nailed
queen.
it. Okay, that's a
Oh
really
yeah.
good one.
Yep.
That's a really good one.
I don't know. I don't know any other ones off the top of my head. Those are just the ones that I like that
Snow
like
White and
came
the
to my head.
Huntsman is probably up there with the Italian Job. The Italian Job's a classic though. So
Oh, Italian Job's classic. Yeah, you
yeah.
can't not be at least American and not have watched that movie.
Oh man, we have a whole ride in one of our Canadian theme parks called the
Do you
Italian
really?
Job. Yeah. You ride though,
Goodness.
it's like a roller coaster ride and you ride around in Mini Coopers.
Yeah. So if I ever come there, that's what we're doing.
East Coast, not even East Coast. It's in Ontario. So if you go to Toronto, it's there. It's called the Backlet Stunt Coaster now, but like it was when it first came out, it was called the Italian Job
Okay,
because
I'm gonna have to do
Paramount
it.
owned the park. So they had
Okay.
one of the rides, one of the roller coasters was called Top Gun, and
Oh,
like it was like you were flying around on a jet. Now it's called
oh my
Flight
gosh.
Deck because they couldn't figure out a better name for it.
What would you have named it?
I would have named it Top Gun Light
Okay.
or 2.0.
Yeah.
Or Maverick.
I mean, Maverick's pretty good. Pretty solid name for a ride.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been bad. Yeah.
Let's go ride the Maverick. Like that sounds real nice.
Hey, Goose, you big stud. Take me to bed or lose me forever. Show me the way, honey. Hey, I've been to San Diego where they filmed Top Gun.
Really?
I've been to that restaurant.
San Diego a few times. That would be really cool to go to the restaurant.
You
I didn't
need to
even
go
know that.
more. You live
I
right
feel like I'm
there.
so un-American. I know. Well, it's quite a drive. It's like a what, 9, 10 hour drive, maybe more.
That's just another day here in the oil field in Canada.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. There's an event going on, King of the Hammers. Have you heard of it?
Can, no.
Hey, do you do any off-roading or any four-wheeling?
I used to do a lot, but in
Mm.
Canada, and we have a lot of boring stuff here. So,
Oh.
Like compared to America, you guys got a lot of good stuff.
Well, they have King of the Hammers. I highly recommend to look it up. It's freaking awesome. Um, and that's going on right now, and that's like a 7 or 8 hour drive. I almost considered going, like leaving Friday night and then coming home tonight, but I did go. I really wish I had though.
Where's your sense of adventure?
I don't know. I don't know what's gotten into me.
You're getting old. It's getting boring in your old age. 28.
Apparently, well,
Just
there's the
wait.
Rubicon too. That's close to me. I've gone to
Just wait.
the Rubicon.
2 years. You're not gonna be able to control your bladder anymore.
No, no, don't put that on me. Mm-mm. We do
No.
not speak those things to existence. Absolutely not. Words are powerful. Mm-mm.
Hey,
No, thank you.
listen.
I
I went
rebuke
from
it.
having an overactive imagination at 29 to like having an overactive bladder at 30. So yeah, yeah,
All
it
those energy
happened.
drinks.
I don't drink energy drinks. I raw dog this life.
Well, then that's another conversation because I'm super into like health, and obviously that's another conspiracy because our healthcare system is literally there to kill us. So watch us get
Whoa.
banned now because I just said that.
Whoa, you're
Yeah.
American and you're saying, man. So we have universal health care in Canada, which
I
means it's
know.
free. But is it really free? Right. So I actually think the American healthcare system is better in a way, right? Hear me out. They're trying to privatize parts of the Canadian healthcare system, which is great because anything that the government puts their hands in turns to dog shit. Look at literally everything. Right now they're trying to control our food. That's gonna go over great. Here we are talking politics again. Uh, so privatizing the healthcare, I mean, sure, it could be expensive, but as long as you have good benefits at work and through other stuff, it should be fine,
Mhm.
right? Um, so in Canada, we're pushing close to 50% tax here, right? So tell me again how our healthcare system is free, right? So we're driving to the hospital on shitty roads
Mhm.
to a health kit to a hospital where there's a 12-hour wait where there's a shortage of doctors,
Yep.
right? So like tell me again how our healthcare system being free is so good. And let's talk about big pharma. Let's talk about the
Oh.
let's talk about that little scribble pad they get to just be like, yo, you don't look like you're doing so good. You might need some help with this. Instead of actually giving help, they scribble some things on the pad and push you some drugs. Have a good day.
Okay. 100% on the same page, and we could go this is like a whole nother thing. Like
Opioid addictions. Why are they here?
I mean, we could do a whole nother episode on this. I'm really passionate about it. Number one, because I'm living it. I have this, I don't know what you'd call her. She's not a doctor in a sense of like she went to college and she has her like PhD or whatever you have to be a doctor, whatever. She doesn't have any of that. She's mostly self-taught, but I went to her and I'm basically completely cured of everything. And cancer's cured. I mean,
You had
literally
cancer?
everything. No, no, no. But
Oh,
I'm just saying in general, she believes, and she's literally had people who had cancer come to her. Cancer's been cured. Infertility's been cured. I mean, literally the list goes on and on. And like whatever you're going through, like the overactive bladder thing is not normal, and that can be cured 100%. And I guarantee
I
you,
don't
you don't
actually
have
have an
any.
overactive bladder.
Oh, well, I'm just saying in general, like if that was a thing, like most people drink water and it goes right through them and they think they're hydrated because they drink so much water today. But if you don't have salt, potassium, magnesium in there, and I could tell you what salt, magnesium, and potassium do for you, then you're not being hydrated. So, I mean, and that again, I could go on and on and on about health and how everything is already cured. We're just living in a world where healthcare is a moneymaker, and they're not going to tell you that your breast cancer is curable because they want you to have breast cancer. They want you to pay for the chemo. They want you to pay for all this stuff. So again, probably going to get banned from this video because I said all the things that I said. So I'm sorry if you do.
It's all
But
good.
I'm passionate about it, and I'm not afraid to speak on it. And a lot of these things, again, we're at an hour and 45 right now, and I could probably go on and on and on. So cover what
The have you heard of the opium wars in China, right?
I think so.
The opium wars went on in China for like 200 or 300 years, right? There's more than one opium war. There's like
Okay.
multiple opium wars. So China had all the spices, right? And they were trading spices with the U.S. and Britain, GB, whatever you want to call it, by way of India. So they had all the spices, and when they refused when they stopped trading the spices with them and whatnot, they sent in opium into China, right, by way of India and importing and stuff, and it got the Chinese addicted to opium. And what happens when your population has an addiction to literally anything? Nobody wants to work. They're all trying to find their next fix. Well, their economy tanks, and they literally so they're like, okay, the U.S. and Britain, you guys have the cure or the cure for this. What do you want for it? Trade us your spices for the cure, right? So like, okay, so it happens. Well, the Chinese government spent the next 200 years cleaning up that mess, right? They went to war with the drug dealers and the addicted. I think during the Mao Zedong, Chairman Mao's time, if you were caught trafficking, and it's like that now in China, if you're caught trafficking, it's the death sentence, right? And that's why it's happening. So the Chinese don't forget. So where's the fentanyl coming in from? It's being shipped over to Mexico and imported through the borders. It's being trafficked across the borders. And
that's another conversation.
Vivek Ramaswamy wants to put a wall at the Canadian border too because of the amount of fentanyl coming in from Canada to the U.S. Yeah.
I'm surprised that hasn't been a talk yet.
It has been. He talked about it. He ran on that a little bit. He brought it up. And so what happens when your economy, your population is addicted to fentanyl, right? Everyone's living in a tent. Everyone's addicted to drugs. Everyone's walking around like a zombie, and we're all carrying the Naloxone kits.
Oh, yeah.
Right? We're all carrying Naloxone kits
overdose,
now.
Yeah.
Right? So the economy's in shambles, right? Because your population who can work, they're unable to work now because they're addicted.
Well, that's a whole nother conversation too, yeah, of why our work is, yeah. I mean, if you think about the amount of Americans that are here now. Oh, my AirPod just died.
Oh.
Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, it's this AirPod. I'm just going to take it out. Let's see. What was I saying?
The amount of Americans that are...
The amount of Americans we currently have, our economy, our housing, our food, we cannot even handle that. And then we're taking on all these, regardless of what you want to call them, I'm just going to say people for the fact of don't want to offend people, these people coming in from both sides, whatever it may be, and we already can't handle the people that we have here. What do you think is going to happen to our economy when we're taking on all these extra people?
Well,
I mean, it literally
Canada,
is a double-edged sword.
For Canada, right, immigration is like at an all-time high. Canadians can't find a house. We're literally in a housing crisis. Like the people that live here cannot find a house, and they're bringing in like 500,000 new immigrants a year right now. I think it is. They want to up that. For work-wise, I think it works out because there's a lot of like jobs like Tim Hortons, like coffee shops and grocery stores and stuff like that. More people are trying to get out of that. You can't, like, it's hard I don't want to work there. A lot of other people don't want to work there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they bring them in. But what that's doing to the U.S. economy and the Canadian economy at the same time, right? They're bringing them in and they're willing to work for way less money, right? So it's driving down our worth. It's driving down our wages.
Yeah,
So like,
I
well,
see where
hey,
you're going. Yep.
why should we give this job to you when he's willing to work for $10 less an hour? Well, good for
Yeah.
him. He's living in a house with 10 other people, right? That are
Yep.
also making
Yep.
that wage. I'm living in a house with 3 other people that I'm supporting,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
like, and I've been at this job a long time and I know what I'm doing and I'm skilled at it. I need
Yeah.
to get paid for for what I know, right?
For
And
sure.
that's kind of where we're at right now, right? And I think immigration is imperative. We need immigration. We absolutely need it. But there's a time and a place for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
And right
we can
now
only
it's not
take
it.
on how many extra a year because of our economy. And then we allow our economy to grow and establish that new amount of people. And then the next year we take on some more. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But people, I get it. And to that too, like I understand why people are coming here, but we can't, gets me fired up. But yeah, I mean,
Yep.
this could be a whole nother talk on another podcast. You know what I mean? Like this is a
Absolutely.
conversation that's so broad. There's not like just one thing you can say about it.
An hour 50, not bad for your first podcast, eh?
That's for sure. I mean, we've already touched on a few things that we started talking about, but then didn't finish. So I mean, you let me know. I'm ready to come back and talk about more things.
Well, we will continue this another time for sure.
Sounds good to me.
It'll be more of like less blue collar and work based, and we'll just dive right into like conspiracy theories.
Oh, I'm ready to talk about that. That's for sure.
Do you know what the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth is?
One's a theory and one's not.
6 months. It's true. The beginning of COVID or after the COVID vaccine started rolling out, if you said on the internet, like I got banned on TikTok once, and if you had said on the internet that once you get vaccinated, you can still catch, spread, and die of COVID, you would have been banned for spreading misinformation.
Oh, yeah.
6 months later, everyone's vaccinated, still catching, spreading, and dying of COVID.
Yep.
Weird.
Mm-hmm. Very
right?
weird.
See?
Yeah.
See? Man.
Yep.
Yeah. No, 6 months. 6 months is the difference between a conspiracy and the truth.
I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna repeat that. That's actually a good one.
Do it. Spread the good word.
Yeah.
This has been fun though. I appreciate you
sure.
coming on, and
thank you.
Yeah, no, it's I can't wait. This goes up in like 2 weeks, so.
Okay, for sure.
Oh, less than 2, a week and a half.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome.
Oh, you just let me know. I mean, I'm ready. This has been fun.
It has been fun, and I'm going to call my wife now and talk to her until I fall asleep, and then I get to go home in 3 days to see my family. So I'm excited. This has been a long hitch. This has been a long one. So.
Well, you deserve it.
I'm pumped.
Yeah.
I can smell her already.
Oh.
Like I can. Yeah. I'm like, I can smell my wife, right? And it's like, yeah. All right. Thanks for coming on. This has been a lot of fun. We're gonna do this again.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thanks. You too.
Hey, stay frosty.
I will.